Have you ever had that feeling where the old rules just don't seem to apply anymore? Well, today, we're diving into new cultural studies, a field that's trying to build completely new ways of thinking for a world that feels like it's in a constant state of crisis. So let's just jump right in with a really fundamental question. What happens when the big ideas that have run our world for centuries, things like progress, truth, the power of nations, what happens when they suddenly feel, well, empty? That feeling of being totally lost is exactly where our discussion begins.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at why our old intellectual maps are failing us so badly. Then, we're going to see how this pressure cooker environment is hitting academia. We'll even ask if theory is totally pointless now. Before, and this is the exciting part, exploring the brand new tools that thinkers are creating to help us navigate what comes next.
Okay, let's start with this feeling of being lost. It's kind of like trying to find your way around a new city, but with a map that's like 50 years old. The landmarks are gone, the streets have all been renamed, and you're just left feeling completely and utterly confused.
And this slide lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got the world we were all promised, right? A steady belief in progress, strong nations, a clear sense of what's true. But on the right, well, that's our reality. Just a constant feeling of crisis, of being adrift, and a political landscape that's often boiled down to a simple and kind of scary us versus them. As the theorist Wendy Brown puts it, this creates a massive contradiction. We don't really believe in the old rules anymore, deep down, but we all keep pretending to play by them. It's like everyone at the table knows the game is rigged, but we just keep playing anyway, and that leaves us totally stuck. And this isn't just some abstract philosophical debate. This crisis is hitting really hard in the one place that's supposed to tackle these big ideas, the university. I mean, just think about today's university. It's become a total pressure cooker. Professors are being pushed to act more like startup founders, chasing grants, churning out publications, all to climb some league table. This culture of constantly measuring everything leaves almost zero room for the deep, slow, and difficult thinking we desperately need to solve our most complex problems. So, when the world feels like it's on fire, you've got political crises, climate change, all this pressure boils down to one huge question. Is spending time on complex, abstract theory just a complete and utter waste of time? This quote just captures that feeling perfectly. The argument basically goes that in a world of really urgent threats, these complicated theories feel like a luxury from a bygone era. While the world is burning, are academics just fiddling with words?
Yeah, the criticism is pretty simple. Theory often feels like it's locked away in an ivory tower, totally disconnected from the problems of the real world. People are demanding clear answers, not more complicated philosophy.
But, and this is the big but, this is where the whole thing just flips on its head. The argument from new cultural studies is that this is precisely the moment we need theory the most. I mean, think about it. When your old tools are broken, you don't just abandon the workshop, you get to work and you start forging new ones. Okay, so let's open up this new toolkit. The first tool is called antagonism. And the idea behind it is actually pretty simple, but incredibly powerful. A lot of the time, our identity is defined by what we're against. In short, you are what threatens you.
And with this one concept, a lot of modern us versus them politics just clicks into place. I mean, think about the war on terror. The identity of the democratic West became so much sharper by defining itself against an axis of evil. It's a political strategy built entirely around creating an enemy to define yourself.
All right, our next tool helps us understand how states can use some truly terrifying power. It's called the zone of exception. Just imagine a place where all the normal laws are just switched off. In these zones, people can be stripped of all their rights, becoming what the philosopher Agamben called bare life, basically human beings with zero legal protection.
And this is exactly how a place like Guantanamo Bay can even exist. By declaring it a zone of exception, a government can do things that would normally be completely illegal. This theory doesn't just describe what's happening, it gives us the language to see exactly how this power works, and, more importantly, how we can start to challenge it.
And for our final tool, let's look at a really strange paradox of our modern world. We are more connected than ever before, right? We can see protests and uprisings happening anywhere on the planet instantly. And yet, somehow, the actual meaning of those struggles doesn't seem to travel. It's like we can see everything, but we can't connect with any of it. Just think about it for a second. We all saw the images from Tiananmen Square or the Zapatista movement in Chiapas. They were broadcast everywhere. But that flood of images didn't create some single, unified global response. This theory helps us understand that critical difference between just seeing something and truly connecting with it.
All right, let's move into our final section. We've diagnosed the problem, we've started forging some new tools for analysis, so what comes next? Where do we go from here?
So here is the final and maybe the most crucial shift. Constantly criticizing, constantly taking things apart, it's important, but it can also leave you totally paralyzed. The new mission for cultural studies is to move beyond just analyzing what's broken and to start actually building what comes next.
And this quote from Raymond Williams, who is a real pioneer in this field, just captures that ambition perfectly. He's not saying it's easy. He's saying we can't shy away from how complex everything is. In fact, diving headfirst into that complexity is the only way we can build something new and unleash the positive energy we really need to fix our world.
So we've seen how one field of study is trying to forge the tools we need for the 21st century. But at the end of the day, this isn't just about academics. The final question is really for all of us. It's for you. In a world this confusing, with so much information flying around, what new tools, new ways of thinking, seeing, and connecting do we need to build for ourselves?